Hello, my name is Tosh and today I'm going to show you how to play a power chord. You're going to hate this to a certain degree, but listen, it is the best thing you'll probably learn on a guitar. Like, it will open up a whole new world of songs and different things you can play. And it's pretty easy to get your fingers into the position and stuff. The difficult part is to maintain it, but you'll get exactly what you put in to this, so stick with it, because it will, you'll feel like you can play more things as soon as you learn this, right? It's a position, so all you really need to know is a shape to make with your fingers that you can then move anywhere on the guitar, right? What I'll do is I'm going to show you in the 5th fret to begin with. So what happens is you only deal with your top 3 strings right now. And this chord is neither major or minor. That's why it's called a power chord. If you ever see it written down, it would be like the note and a 5. So like the one we are going to play now is an A5. The reason it is that it's called that is because the first note is the root note, and then the 5th note in the scale is what gives it this sound, but it doesn't have the 3rd note in the scale, which makes it major or minor. Essentially, that's what it is. But what you want to do is you want to take your first finger and you want to put your first finger on the 5th fret here. Okay. Now you're going to ignore this, the next fret up, right? The 6th fret. Totally ignore it. Okay. And you're going to take your ring finger and you're going to put that in the 7th fret on the string below, and then this pinky you're going to tuck in on the 7th fret on the string below that. What I find easiest to do is just kind of jam these fingers together, right? Rather than try to put them on separately. I find it was easier when I was learning just to imagine that these 2 fingers were taped together, right? And you're not going to play any of the other strings, you're just going to play the strings that you have fingers on to make that. Now what I mean by it's just a shape is I can do that whole thing again as long as I put a finger in a fret, miss the next fret up, and then on the A string and the D string, or your 2nd and 3rd string down from the top, you can make that chord, and that will move anywhere on the strings. Right? You can also take that whole shape that you've made and move it down a string. What you really want to practice with this is moving up and down, moving up and down your fretboard, and then combining the 2, where you're moving in a diagonal thing. But now you know that, like, there's loads of songs you can play. They're all there. One thing to bear in mind is, if you're down here in the 1st fret and the 3rd fret, imagine that's a fret and just slide that down, which would be your E minor position. But that's how you would play it open. But the majority of popular rock music will have the power chord in it. Like, whether you want to learn Nirvana, if you're into punk, if you're into Slayer, it doesn't matter, Metallica, they will have power chords in it. I mean, Master of Puppets is... it's all there, it's right through it. But it's difficult to play, and the only way to do it properly is to make sure that you don't let that finger, or these fingers, slide down into that fret. As long as you keep that fret completely clear, it'll make your life a lot easier. The more you practice this, the better you'll get. I mean, that's just the way it works. That's the way everything works. So, to go over it again, pick a fret, say we start in the 5th again. Your index finger, your pointing finger, will go in the very top string in the 5th fret, miss the next fret, put your ring finger in the next fret up and down a string, so in this case it's the 7th, and then your pinky goes underneath that ring finger on the string below that in the 7th. And you can just move that shape around the fretboard. If you move down too far, it stops to sound like a power chord, because you're introducing other notes into that. And what I would suggest is, don't go down this route, right? Don't go index finger, middle finger, ring finger. I've seen some folk do that and say it was easier for them. Eventually, if you want to move on to bar chords, which is what the next video is going to be, you're going to want that middle finger free to do other things, because if you're learning how to play bar chords like this, you're going to need to relearn the whole thing. So you might as well put the work in now to reap the benefits later. And that is the power chord. I'm really into Nirvana, and because I like Nirvana, that is like why I learned power chords, was to learn the Nirvana back catalogue. It's all really power chord based stuff, and so is like a lot of punk, the Ramones for example. Like there is a wealth of stuff out there using these chords. Give it a go, and then go and have a look, and you'll be surprised how often these chords, these power chords, or these 5 chords, or whatever that website or whatever you're looking at will call it, how often they appear. So yeah, put the work in now, and you'll reap the benefits later. And in the next video, I'm going to show you bar chords and a couple of things that will hopefully help you when it comes to learning bar chords.